most important areas for all of us teachers, of course, is to how can we share with people the proper transition in golf? Because we all believe that transition separates the good players from the great players. And for me as a teacher, invariably I see people in here with very weak angles on the forward swing and of course throwing the golf club head at the golf ball. So I want you today to learn through the short game principles of how you can achieve the proper angles, the compression angles, through proper centrifugal force on the forward swing and through proper grip pressure as you transfer directions from top to bottom. In the full game swing, I think many of you may know, some of you not, that the full position of the backswing as we set our angles, set our wrist angle, and we have a nice 90-degree angle here at the top, hopefully. On the forward swing, the greatest players of the game, as they move back forward again, that angle increases, and of course their compression is much greater than most people's as they hit the golf ball, so that the club head speed with very little effort is increased. Most players, of course, from the top cast it, and it's always been a very difficult area to teach in, and we have several things that we try in those areas, but we have found through the short game training that it invariably will increase a person's potential and understanding how to accelerate their learning so much faster. So today, let's learn again in setting our small little angles. As we move on the forward swing with our soft grip pressure, those angles will increase. And watch it here on the camera and you'll see what I'm talking about. Watch this little move again. So the angle is increasing even in a short little pitch shot. And that is really, really important. Since most fear the golf ball and their goal is to hit the golf ball, they change their angles to more of a casting type angle and of course hit the ball fat and thin and high and all kinds of missed shots. Also, even if they had good path on the way back, if they change that angle this way, the path changes and moves a little bit to the outside. So I want you to learn today how to feel, along with me, the increase of angle as you hold on to the golf club with the same grip pressure as you move your body right and back to the left again. And you can see that little angle increase coming back toward the impact position back here. Now, I don't want you to be sloppy, and you don't want to be real sloppy there. You just want to allow the golf club to move in its normal pattern. And you will find on this little short shot that the shaft on the forward swing will follow its same path if there's no pressure put on it to hit the golf ball. If there's pressure put on it to hit the golf ball, we start to come out, and then you can understand why the long shots, the wood shots, we start to get outside. So let's learn how to hinge and how to come back into the impact position by moving our body the way we talked about earlier and just feeling the club head as we shift our weight back to the left side a little bit, and it will get deeper or the angle will increase, and therefore you'll hit the shot with great spin and great trajectory. Okay, in the full swing, every player that we see that is a darn good, strong player, at impact, they would find their hips open to the target, their pelvis still intact in here, their pelvic triangle. They would find their hands well forward of the golf ball. Matter of fact, much more forward than the original address position of the golf ball. And you would find the back of their left wrist toward the target or very flat back here. The amateur, typical amateur, not all of them, the typical amateur, would release the club head and it would pass up the hands, and you would see a nice little, unfortunate, cuppy little back of the left wrist here. You would see the club head well past the hands instead of like the tournament player behind the hands through here, and you would see no hold. What that gives you is an opportunity to scull the shot or hit it with the flange of the golf club because it is passing up the head, so we can catch it thin, or we can hit behind it and drop kick into, especially the short game shots. So we want to teach you today that your address position and your much more forward impact position has to be held. The back of the left hand has to be squared at the back of the ball. It can't be open. It's got to be squared. And then as we turn through, especially on the small little chip shots or pitch shots, it's still held in here. Now I'm going to turn it face this way so you can see that. Back of the left wrist at setup position, address, impact is much more forward, and held at impact here and held at impact here. Even as the tournament player, the great players of the game release, the release is still with a good hold of the back of the left wrist. This is near impossible to teach people in a full game swing teaching session. Very difficult. They can try, it will hurt, it will be painful, and they'll just throw their hands up in the air because it's too difficult to learn. But in the short little shots, the chip, the kind of hold, chip, kind of hold, and then even in the cocking and pitch sort of shot, where we set some angle and hold again, that little pitch is very important to learn. And then into the full game swing later, we'll share with you how that rotation, even though we rotate in here, the back of the left wrist is still connected to the leading edge of the golf club. Very, very important. So just a little reiteration here of what we talked about before, setting your angles, of course, and then making our move in the forward swing without pressuring the golf ball, holding the impact position, hands arrive much more forward as we work our body, and still holding the back of the left wrist position. Now, the golf club always remains in front of us, even in the chip, even in the pitch. A lot of people will allow it to travel way behind them here, opening up all kinds of doors for misses and thins and fats and whatnot. We want that golf club to stay right in front of you. We want the hands to travel right on the same path, the inclined plane path that they started on. Not further away, not closer to you pulling your arms in. When you establish these simple little principles, you can go on now to a little bit more full swing. But first establish them.